Everyone in New Jersey loves food. We like cooking it, we like eating it, we even like talking about it. So with a big election coming up, I thought, let's get the people running for governor into the kitchen and get to know them through their favorite foods.
I'm Jon Bramnick. I'm a state senator and a candidate for governor of the state of New Jersey. What I love about New Jersey, it has everything you want. It's got the beach, it's got the mountains, it has the proximity to New York and to Philadelphia, and it's got personality. You'll never be bored in New Jersey. That may be my new slogan. Today I'm cooking with Koppell. I'll be making wedding chicken, which is chicken that we had for our wedding, and that was in 1981, and we continue to have wedding chicken once a week.
Why did you choose this dish?
My wife told me to do it. I went there, I said, I'm going on a cooking show. She said, what? You can't cook at all. That's why we've been doing it for 43 years, because I follow orders really well.
Okay, Senator, here we are. We're going to be cooking today. What's the dish you put on the menu for us?
This is wedding chicken, which we had at our wedding in Evansville, Indiana in 1981. We had the chef do it. Before that, my wife Patricia, who's an artist, had a friend, Julia, whose father was French. He gave the recipe to Lori, and they gave it to Patricia. And now once a week, we have wedding chicken in Westfield, New Jersey.
So when we say wedding chicken, this is not just any wedding, it's your wedding chicken.
Exactly. This is a very unique, nobody has this recipe anywhere else in the world, so I'd appreciate if we don't tell anybody, because I didn't tell my wife I was using it.
Okay. And it's your specialty. You make this every week yourself, right? So you can do this. You can do this
but
blindfolded.
I'm in the room at the time it's made. Yeah, she does not really like me messing with the kitchen. I interfere once in a while, and that never ends in a good result.
So we have some notes, and we're going to do our best to keep up with Patricia's cooking.
Ooh, we got a heavy lift. Let me tell you, heavy lift.
That's going to be our best. So we're going to start, I think, by putting together the marinade that we'll put in. So what do we got here?
We have a mustard, and we have...
It looks like Dijon mustard to me.
Right, Dijon mustard,
okay.
And we have a certain oil, right?
That's white wine vinegar.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
White wine. We had oil, but the last minute we put white wine.
We decided to use white wine vinegar instead.
Yeah, we like to mix it. I don't like the exact recipe.
See, okay, so while we do that, so you wanna take some and put it in your mixing bowl?
I do.
Where's our spoons?
Okay, so...
We're just going to dump that in, I guess.
We're not going to use that?
Yeah, go crazy. That's what it's
for. All right, here we go. See, what you do is you take this, right, and you take the Dijon mustard, right, and you put it in the bowl, I think. And then you take what I thought was oil. It turns out to be white wine.
There you go.
White wine vinegar. White wine vinegar, and you put that in with the mustard.
And we're going to mix it up.
And then you mix it up. And when you mix it up, don't you need that funny looking...
It makes for a better visual, yeah.
No,
we gotta whisk.
Right.
There you go.
So, right, I think you're supposed to whisk at this time. This is a whisker right here.
So I can tell already you're comfortable in front of the camera, and I can see a little bit why you're claimed to be New Jersey's funniest lawyer. Now, that's a funny title, by the way, New Jersey's funniest lawyer.
Just a minute. I don't claim. I won 3 years in a row, New Jersey's funniest lawyer, and then I trademarked it.
Yeah.
So if you think you're funny, you can be. You just can't say you're the funniest lawyer. Is this how you do it?
Yeah, it looks good to me. So what makes you New Jersey's funniest lawyer?
Well, Rascals Comedy Club.
Okay.
I won 3 years in a row. And as I said, the competition's pretty light. But, once I won, I decided once I trademarked it, they couldn't really have the concept. Yeah. They couldn't have it anymore. So, and then I went on to my massive comedy career, which has gone nowhere.
How did that become part of your life alongside, we'll get to the public service part, but the stand-up comedy part, where'd that come from?
So my wife entered me in New York in the funniest lawyer in New York contest back in the 80s because she saw it in New Yorker magazine.
Yeah. She sort of pushed you
into the pool. It was a birthday.
She pushed you into the pool.
Yeah, it was a birthday present. So all of these competition got me ready for doing like the Borgata and the Tropicana and all the hotels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you went on.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to be at. I'll be at Stress Factory April 9th.
Put some salt and pepper in to spice up our mix here a little bit.
Right, which I do normally.
All right, you want to whisk that in for us?
You got to whisk it. What is this called actually?
That's a whisk.
Oh, whisk. You notice I do a lot of whisking and whiskey.
When my son was a baby, his thing, like some people have a teddy bear or a blankie.
He had a
My
whisk.
son had a whisk. It was he loved his whisk.
Well, you know, you think about it, you don't have to buy toys for your kids. All you need is like a pot and a pan and let them hit it. And you don't need any of the pads or any of those tablets. All you get them is some stuff to knock together.
All right, so here's our chicken.
Right?
And so I guess we need to get the breadcrumbs together.
Breadcrumbs go afterwards, right?
Well, we're gonna soak the chicken in the mix, and then we'll put them in the breadcrumbs.
So we take the chicken, which everyone knows. See, this is the chicken.
I'm gonna put the breadcrumbs in here, so
Right.
we're ready.
You dip the chicken into the special sauce. We actually put a few other things in there privately before we started. I guess I'm allowed to just pick it up, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
it. You washed your hands, didn't you?
Oh,
sir?
I did. You bet. Okay, and then we take it, and you take the chicken, and you place the
We'll put
chicken.
some
Do I
parsley
put it
to
in
make it
there?
pretty.
Put it in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, and you put it in, flip it around, right? Make sure you get a lot of breadcrumbs. Make sure you flip it, push it down a little bit, and I think that's it, right?
We're gonna put it on this platter to get them.
Put it on the platter.
So when did you get to Jersey from New York?
So
Or you're from Jersey. You
Yeah,
just went
so-
there to work.
Yeah, well, I got a job.
Yeah.
You know,
So when did you come back to New Jersey?
So in 1984, I came back to Plainfield. I did two things. I continued to open my own law practice. I took a job teaching at Rider College, and I became a Plainfield City Councilman. So I moved to my hometown where my dad had a mom and pop store. I moved back to Plainfield, and I opened my own shop. I put up a sign, Jon Bramnick, attorney at law. I was not very busy at that time, you know.
So my father thinks I wasted my life by not becoming a lawyer.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
And what he says is
Yeah.
the good thing about being a lawyer is you can always hang up a shingle. And you hung up your shingle.
I did.
You did it.
You want to hear my joke I use?
You are the funniest lawyer in New Jersey.
So I didn't have any business. My first case came in. It was a murder case. I shouldn't have taken it, but I didn't have any business. I didn't have any money, so I took the case. The jury was out 5 minutes. The jury foreman came back, says, guilty, first degree. I turned to my client. I said, Mom, I'm so sorry.
It's like my cousin Vinny.
They're not allowed to laugh, I guess. Okay.
They
Or
don't-
it's just not funny.
They don't. It's not professional.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about
No,
that.
since you're talking about, you part of what you did was you went and taught.
Correct.
So by the way, the best part is, so this whole crew here, like this is alumni and students at Montclair State University. Everybody he's producing this show together, they're all part of this fantastic university. It's one of the best parts about my job is I get to be with our students.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And so yeah, they're they're not supposed to laugh. So what
Can I
got
use
you
this
to?
or not?
You can use that.
Oh, good,
It's all
okay.
here. So what got you to Rider? Right, that's where you were teaching,
Yeah,
right? What got you to Rider, and what was your favorite part about teaching?
The favorite part is when I was in school, I was bored most of the time, right? And I was able to do things like the first day in class, I banged on the window for 5 minutes and there's 30 students there. And I come back and I go, okay, I just bang on the window for 5 minutes because it's part of my religion, so you're gonna have to live with it. And no one said anything. I said, so I wanted them to think, I wanted their brains to move, not my brain. I go, well, somebody argue I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
When I got to law school, there was a sign, no smoking. The dean of the law school, the professor, first thing he said is, argue you can smoke in here. So I think when you teach, you should move people's brains around and you shouldn't lecture. I mean, you can tell people something. It's you thinking. It's like working out. I could tell you how to work out, but if I work out, you ain't getting any stronger. So that was my whole thing. I wanted people to think.
Yeah. Well, that is. I mean, look, that's both the fun part, but it's also what makes education real. When you give a problem and you make them solve it.
Because the more you do that, the more your brain is getting stronger. And I always thought the lecture thing, I never got it. I didn't understand how anyone could stand up and lecture.
All right, so when we come back from our break, we're going to have some real-life problem solving when we cook this chicken and have a little bit more conversation with Jon Bramnick.
We'll be right back.
There you go.
Hawk Plus, the first student-run streaming service in the nation. The place to go for all things Montclair State University. Student films.
Is it really you?
News.
We start this episode with some breaking news on campus.
Montclair State men's basketball has been a road this season.
Exclusive talk shows, alum interviews, and live events. Student produced and student run. Hawk Plus. It's Montclair, streaming live and on demand.
Okay, we're back. We're gonna cook, and we're obviously gonna keep talking. So let's get into the transition from lawyering to jumping into the political arena.
Sure.
So you first ran for the state legislature when?
Well, first I ran for city council.
Oh, you were in city council
Because
first,
I'm
right.
from Plainfield.
Okay.
Went to Plainfield High School.
Right.
My dad had a store in Plainfield. So when I moved back to Plainfield, I ran for city council.
Yeah.
I did 7 years on the Plainfield City Council.
When you say did 7 years, it makes like you sound like you were serving time.
You know something? I was in the minority as a Republican in Plainfield,
Yeah.
so it wasn't easy.
Not so far
It wasn't easy,
Not so
and
far off.
it's a strong urban community, and I was a little bit I shouldn't say out of touch, but I didn't get a lot of my legislation done.
All right, let's start. So I think we're going to start with some oil in the pan.
Oil in the pan.
There you go. Here you go. I'll let you go first.
Anything dangerous about this?
I don't
okay,
think so.
here we
It's
go.
just some olive
when you
oil.
put oil in the pan, you make sure that you open the. I don't know. You got
I
to
think it
open
requires
this.
a little
Oh,
effort.
okay. I see. Because they don't want you to put too much.
There
There.
you go.
Okay.
I think
you
that's
don't
good.
Want, yeah, it's too good.
And then a
Okay,
little bit
we'll
of
put
butter
it.
on top
And
of
a
that
little
is good.
butter. You always like to put.
I'll do this one.
Oh,
too.
good. And take a little piece of butter, not too much. One piece. Put it. Whoop. See, you throw. Make sure
think
you
do a little more
and then
than
you
one.
move. Oh, two.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna
then you,
we're gonna let
then
it
you got to
swim in
move it
there.
around a little bit. I think I got to get whatever this is here. And you take so you move this around a little bit like this. See?
All right, you
What I
gotta
do.
use the wooden one.
Oh, the wooden
if
one.
If you're in there, because you're gonna
You
scratch
want to make
the
sure.
pan.
I always like to use the wooden one, but I start with the metal one first
to show people.
to show people what not to do.
There you go.
You never really want to use the metal unless you're told to use it. Oh, this is going to be excellent. Look at this. It's beautiful.
All right, so you're in the Plainfield Council. You decide to make the move to the legislature.
Well, I actually moved to Westfield,
Oh, okay.
and then I became chairman of the Westfield Republican Party for a period of time. And then in 2002,
You want to put a piece of chicken in there? While
I
I'm
would love
talking?
to.
There you go.
all right, here we go. Should I put two in there or not?
I think you can.
Okay.
Here you go. I'll do some too.
2002, I decided to run for a state assembly, and in 2003, I was sworn in on my 50th birthday,
Okay.
February 24th, 2003, into the state legislature.
So that's interesting because a lot of people get started in politics at a younger age. I'll put
Well,
it that way.
I'm going to make a suggestion.
Yeah.
Make money first,
Okay.
not when you're in politics.
Okay.
Actually, I remember Bloomberg said something to Chris Christie is make $1 billion first, then run for office.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, when you're in politics, the last thing you want to think about
Is making
is you're
money.
at meetings and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to think about, I got to make money.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be very difficult to make money and also do the responsibilities.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
also, it causes problems if you're thinking about making money when you're in office.
Exactly.
Just saying,
First
there's some
25
issues.
years. So I practiced law for 25 years.
Yeah.
Even though I was a councilman for a while, but that's not really
That's
that heavy a
demanding,
lift.
yeah.
And then, fortunately, I was able to.
But you had it in mind that you were gonna do politics, or did it occur to you at some point?
Well, my wife says when we're living in New York, she said, I told her, we're moving back to New Jersey. I'm going to open my law practice, and I'm getting into politics.
Oh, so you knew exactly what you were doing.
I don't know, looking back over the last 25 years, the law practice is a good idea. I don't know about politics. It's getting a little rough out there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think you might want to check on that and flip them over, maybe.
How are we going? Oh, flip
You
them
got
with
the
this,
tongs.
you think?
Maybe use the tongs.
Now, this is when you have to be very careful, people out there in TV land, because you can get hurt. Now, the key to, oh, look at that.
There you go.
Oh, you know, it's starting to look like wedding chicken.
How about
I need
that?
a picture. I need a picture to show my, oh, well, we're gonna eat it. Oh my, she's gonna be shocked.
That you actually did this.
This
On
is-
television, no less.
This is absolutely amazing. Should we throw some of those green things in there or no?
I think that'll be like decoration. I mean,
Oh,
if you
damn.
want,
No.
like it's you're the chef here.
You know something? We got only 4 pieces of chicken. We got 15 people out there. It's going to be cutting into very small
It'll be a
pieces.
television
This,
miracle.
I'll tell you something. This is really, it's worked out
It
really
looks
well.
it looks the way it's supposed to
I'm
look.
shocked.
That's what happens.
Wow.
So has it been what you thought it would be? I mean, I'm asking a big question, but when you said I'm going to New Jersey, I'm going to get into politics.
It's been really good until I think the last 6, 7, 8 years when you get this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'm worried about the country. Everybody now is so polarized. This is not the way we used to do it. We may disagree on things, but you don't have to hate each other. And I'm seriously worried about how polarized the country is. Like you have to, one of the things my advisors tell me, you're not angry enough. I don't understand this. We may disagree on policy, but why do you gotta hate people? I just.
Well, one way that I think you get at that is to talk about what motivates people for public service. So why, when you were thinking about your future and you said, well, part of what I want to do when I go back to Jersey is to get into politics, what was it that was motivating you to have that be part of your life, whether it was before or after you made some money to take care of your family and so on?
I know this sounds kind of crazy, but it's amazing how you can help people. I'll give you an example. You get a call from somebody who has a medical problem but can't get the treatment because an insurance company is standing in the way. I can call and get a hold of almost anyone in the state.
I'm turning it down a little
Good.
bit.
To help people.
Yeah.
So that how can I put it? I don't want to be irrelevant in my life.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how much you can do. Even if you can't pass big pieces of legislation, you can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
You can help their children get internships in the office. You can help people when they have a problem with big companies. And that is just
It's a way to make a difference.
It's fabulous.
That's why I do my job. I told you my father was in politics, was in the state legislature like you for over 20 years. And
He represented the Bronx.
he represented the Bronx, and that I grew up with the same mindset that actually came from my grandmother. That said, the whole point is to do something that makes a difference. I like being at a university because I think we can make a difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Because I remember my professors, right? I don't remember everything that happened last week.
Yeah.
But I remember people who taught me political science at Syracuse, and I remember stuff they told you.
Yeah.
You know, because you're still formulating your ideas, and
Right.
that's
Teachers make a difference. You can make a difference in the community. A lot of the programs we do are in
Yeah.
the community, and we're working with community organizations. It's powerful. It's a powerful thing. So I'm with
Yeah.
you. Like you want
Yeah.
to do something that, when you're gone, you can
And-
say like, "Hey, I did something."
I put defibrillators in all the schools. I can normally get this, I can't get the story out, but the reason we did it, an 11-year-old girl lost her life. 6 years later, I go to Warren Township. Why? I don't know why I'm going up there. They called me. Another child who was 12 was saved by the defibrillator, and they had the parents.
Which was because you had a law requiring every school to have a defibrillator.
Yeah, and I'm not blowing my own
I
horn.
understand,
What
I
I'm
understand.
saying is
No, it's an
little
example
stuff. And I saw the parents of the child who lost her life
Yeah.
talking to the parents of the child who was saved, and it was the parents of the child who lost her life is the one who came to me and said, put defibrillators in the school.
I see.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, makes a real difference.
Here,
All right.
you want to take the? Here, I'll hold it for you. So, but finish your story.
So that was one of the bills. The other bill that I really love is the one where they're going to teach grief and loss in schools now.
Yeah.
And everyone, a lot of people lose a parent or a sibling, and nobody knows what to say. So now, starting now, as a result of the bill we did, they teach grief and loss in schools.
That's great. All right, so let's take a break, and then we are going to sit down and we're going to taste the famous Bramnick family wedding chicken.
I just gonna get in trouble. Brentano is my wife's maiden name.
Oh, okay.
So it's really a Brentano quote recipe. And I don't want to go home. She goes, Bramnick, you have nothing to do with this. And she wouldn't do that.
All right, let the record show.
Brentano
family.
Like the bookstore.
Wedding chicken. Like the bookstore.
Yeah.
Good. All right. We'll see you after the break, and we're going to have some delicious Brentano chicken.
At Montclair State University, we don't just create opportunities, we transform lives and strengthen communities. Here, you'll learn by doing, guided by expert faculty who are advancing research and deepening our understanding of the world in education, healthcare, psychology, science, criminal justice, business, and technology. Our location in the heart of the dynamic New York-New Jersey region offers access to internships and careers, from Wall Street to Broadway, from startups to Fortune 100 companies. Montclair graduates go far. Alumni are leaders across industries, driving progress in their companies and communities. At Montclair, we believe in your future and make it possible with an education that's both top tier and affordable. Join a university that values you, supports you, and prepares you to soar.
Okay, so we're back to eat the famous Brentano / Bramnick family chicken, but paint a picture. So what's it like when the family sits down? Paint a scene for me. When you think of this, what's the picture that comes into your head?
Well, in Evansville, Indiana, our wedding was at a lunch wedding with a chamber group. You know, I go to weddings today, there's so much loud music, I can't even talk to anybody. So to me, I would recommend people save some money on their wedding, have it around lunchtime, and use the special Brentano wedding chicken, and you're gonna save a lot of money. That would be my recommendation. And this plate says Montclair State. I'm gonna tell you, that's the kind of plate I like. Like the Brentano and the Bramnick plates, same thing. So we have a family insignia as well.
You do?
No, we don't.
Okay.
But I'm glad you do.
Well, we're very proud.
No, it's very cool.
But it is states we have glasses of water, not a glass of wine, which might have been at the wedding. But the memory, even though you said you have this dish every week, but the memory is still your wedding.
Sure. And, you know, Patricia knows I really love wedding chicken.
Yeah.
So she'll go, wedding chicken. I say, great. It's just, hopefully you'll like it.
Yeah. Should we dig in here?
Sure,
yeah?
absolutely.
Yeah. Finish what you're saying. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's great.
So what about your kids? Is your family all eating this chicken too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my son is a lawyer with me, and my daughter is an art therapist. She went to RISD undergraduate, and she got a master's at NYU. So she's an art therapist. So my wife, who's an artist, a painter, and my son's a lawyer. So we're all opposite sides of the brain,
right?
Which works out perfectly.
Right.
You know, if you have two artists and you have two lawyers, you can't believe how well everybody gets along.
So which one of your kids is the comedian then?
My daughter is. You know, she is really, I mean, she's hilarious. She's not doing it professionally, but she's real smart. Now let's see if this tastes like wedding chicken.
You're the test. I don't know.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm going to coach you here a little bit.
Oh.
Not quite as good.
Oh, it's not quite as good as when Patricia makes it, but pretty good.
There you go. That's the right answer. I think that's the right answer.
Watch this. How do you like it, Mr. President?
I think this is delicious. I just feel like there's maybe a little something missing that I can't put a finger on.
Well, I think I put a little too much oil in the pan.
That might have been it.
So that's part of it, because you can see a little bit too much oil, but that's why Patricia puts lemon on it, and it wouldn't be this oily if she did it. See what I mean?
So I'm interested in going back to the public service journey, because you said, you know, there's a lot of anger and the mood is a little different. So what would you say to young people here at Montclair State University or others that you're talking to, not about politics or party, that why should people think about getting into public service regardless of what their political beliefs are?
Here's my favorite reason.
Okay.
you meet thousands of people. So in 1 week, I go to probably 10 events. So I meet thousands of people. I get to meet so many people, I find the best people on earth. And those are my friends. So every night, I meet somebody new. And therefore, you learn from all these new people. Sometimes as you get older, you get narrow, meaning that you have the same friends,
Right.
you go to the same restaurant, you do the same things. When you're in politics, look at this. I mean, just being
We're here,
at Montclair, right? I mean, that's the point. You're always going to be exposed to something new. There's always a new piece of legislation. There's a new idea. There's a new person. So it's incredibly dynamic, and you'll never be bored.
Right. That's interesting because when I talk about, what people ask these days because of, a lot of the stuff that's going on, they're like, wow, it must be really hard to be president of a university these days. And I'm like, I still wouldn't choose another job. And some of the answers are the same thing. Like, you're meeting interesting people. I'm surrounded by students who are motivated and eager to learn. I meet professors who are doing interesting projects. I learn about their work. I'm out in the world. I talk to people. It's very similar, right? It's stimulating. It's exciting. You don't get bored.
You're never bored. The other thing I would say to students is try to keep all your relationships good, even if somebody you don't like, because it will come back to haunt you. There's no reason to have a negative relationship. If there's somebody you don't like, just kind of avoid them. But don't get into conflict. Conflict is more stressful on you than it is on the other person. So you will show up after you have some bad argument, you'll show up and that person will be everywhere.
Yeah.
So I avoid conflict at all stages. Avoid conflict.
What about, I'm interested in drawing lessons from you're continuing to do the comedy part of your life, even as you've done these other things. What does that do for you, sort of psychologically, emotionally, that you've got these three things, lawyering, legislating, and stand-up comedy?
Let me first say, when you meet somebody and they hear you're a state senator running for governor, they're not crazy. They don't care. You're a lawyer, they especially don't care. But if you say you're a comedian, they love that.
That's interesting.
So now you go in a room with 200 people, and you now have to write something that's creative, and you have to study it, and it has to be perfect. You talk about something that's hard. If I take a joke and I emphasize the wrong word or my timing's off, it's not funny.
Right.
It has to be crystally clear as to what your plan is, and you have to execute perfectly. So it's a real challenge, but the best part is it's creativity. So I'll work for 4 hours to get 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll work it down. Like you look at it, and then you get in the room, you have to be in the room. So if this is the room, you can't ignore the room. You can't just go up and do your thing. You have to look around and start talking about the people in the room, not negative.
Yeah.
So they know.
Connecting.
So they know you're with them.
Right.
So I love that. And it helps you in politics because I get in the room and they're asking me questions. I have the experience of being live on stage.
Oh, sure.
And also in politics, they'll clap, they'll smile, they'll say thank you. Not in comedy. They're paying to see a show.
Right.
They ain't laughing.
Right.
If you ain't funny,
But a laugh is real. They either laugh or they don't.
They ain't
There's
laughing.
no such thing as a polite laugh, right?
Exactly. And you know when it's really funny, they clap.
Yeah. Well, you've got a new skill that you can add. You can cook wedding chicken. You didn't even know it yourself, but you have.
But I have to use a little less oil.
You have a gift.
I soaked the chicken. I drowned the chicken. I apologize. It's not Patricia Brentano chicken.
That's all right, but it's a tribute to Patricia Brentano chicken, and we appreciate you sharing it with us. And thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for your career of public service.
Well, thank you for being the president, and this has been a lot of fun. Really appreciate it.
Good.
Thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you.